Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. We're continuing our series of daily morning meditations, where we generally look at one or another of the lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the daily office lectionary. And today for Thursday, let's take a look at the lesson that's assigned from the second book of Samuel. Remember that Saul is dead. And of course, David is now the king. And there's some fear that some of the remaining descendants of King Saul will try to take over the throne. Jonathan is dead as well, so he's the direct heir. But then you have his grandchildren, Ishbosheth and Mephibosheth. They are still living. And so there's some fear among people in David's camp that in fact somebody will try to overthrow David and restore that lineage to the throne. And so they think they should take the situation into their own hands. 2 Samuel chapter 4, beginning at verse 1. And while Saul's son heard that Abner was dead in Hebron, his hands were feeble, and all the Israelites were troubled. And the sons of Rimmon the Beerite, and Rechab and Baanan, went and came about the heat of the day to the house of Ishbosheth, who lay on a bed at noon. For when they came into the house, he lay on his bed in his bedchamber, and they smote him, and slew him, and beheaded him, and took his head, and gat them away through the plain all night. And they brought the head of Ishbosheth unto David at Hebron, and said to the king, Behold the head of Ishbosheth, the son of Saul thine enemy, which sought thy life. And the Lord hath avenged my lord the king this day of Saul and of his seed. David answered Rechab and Baanan his brother, and the sons of Rimmon and Beerite, and said unto them, As the Lord liveth, who hath redeemed my soul out of all adversity. When one told me, saying, Behold, Saul is dead, thinking to have brought good tidings, I took hold of him and slew him in Ziklag, who thought that he would have given him a reward for his tidings. How much more when wicked men have slain a righteous person in his own house upon his bed? How shall I not therefore now require his blood at your hand, and take you away from the earth? And David commanded his young men, and they slew them, and cut off their hands and their feet, and hanged them up over the pool in Hebron. And they took the head of Ishbosheth, and buried it in the sepulchre of Abner in Hebron. Okay, so David is actually, in all of this chaos of the turning over the empire, David is trying to remain righteous. He's saying, look, it's the Lord who delivered me out of all this stuff when Saul was trying to kill me. You don't get to get revenge, right? The Lord has done that in removing Saul and placing me as king. And so David is setting examples for all those who think that they can somehow curry favor with David by doing away with those perceived enemies of David, perceived and real enemies of David as well. So, David has a lot of good going. He does make some mistakes because he is human, but he starts off as very strong with his use of his leadership for the kingdom. So today is Thursday, and I am going to be doing some traveling today, so there will be no Holy Communion service today. There will be evening prayer at 4 o'clock. You can join Elizabeth here in the office. There's usually a couple of people who join us as well, so if you'd like to do that, you're more than welcome. But please, let's pray for each other. Please pray for travel mercies for me, and I should be back by Saturday, God willing. And may the Lord grant us all a Thursday that's full of blessings.